Hey guys, August ended yesterday, and so this is probably a little late, but only just yesterday did I get this in the mail. This is Invader ZIM #2, and I'm going to talk about it here today. And without waiting, because first of all, it's already been a while since this issue was officially released, so the review is kind of overdue. Second of all, because this is kind of amazing, and I wanted to talk about it as soon as I possibly can. It's like, I can't wait. I gotta do it while it's still fresh. So I've read this twice, so I think I'm ready to talk about it in some detail. The first thing I want to say is that with the first issue I reviewed, I tried to keep spoilers to a minimum because I was trying to encourage people to buy it and read it themselves. But with issue #2, I feel like I can't really talk about it and say everything that I want to say without giving spoilers. So there's gonna be spoilers for this issue in this video. So if that bothers you, if you're planning to buy it, seriously go buy it. Click away from this video right now and go to like Midtown Comics, that's where I ordered mine, and order this because it's amazing. You will not regret it. So I guess I should start from the top. First of all, just a little quick niggling thing. I ordered the first issue from Books A Million, and I ordered the second from Midtown because Books A Million didn't have the second issue in stock for some reason. It only had the first one, which is weird. But anyway, the thing is, the Books A Million box that this issue came in, it was huge. It was like this huge, like, big box, like, with, like, air. And at the bottom was one little magazine and this little comic. It's like, why do you need a box that big? Bam, I don't understand you. So, Midtown's comic was about the same size, but it came in a much more reasonably sized box. So if you're like more eco-friendly or whatever, you probably want to go with Midtown. Also, it's a weird place to start the packaging, but it's just like a weird thing I noticed, and I noticed other people on Tumblr who ordered from Books A Million were talking about this too. It's like, the box is really big. Yeah, it's really big. It's kind of dumb how big that box is, but anyway. First of all, we open again with Recap Kid, which delights me because I realize he's going to be in every issue. And it's really funny because Recap Kid, like, one thing Recap Kid talks about is how in the first issue, Dib's eye color changed. And it was so funny when I read that because I know there were some people on Tumblr who were bitching and moaning about exactly that because they're like, well, Dib's eyes are brown, but they look blue in this panel. And I saw people were like comparing the panels side by side to see how his eyes changed color. So Recap Kid comments on this notion. Also, Dib's eyes are brown, but they kept changing color. Come on, comic making people. So when I read that, I realized, oh my god, is Jonan Vasquez gonna read our comments and then make fun of us for them every single issue? Like, an issue's gonna come out, people are gonna bitch about something, and he's going to have Recap Kid bitching about that same thing in the next issue. Is this gonna be a recurrent thing? Because that would be beautiful. I would love that so much. I feel like Recap Kid in general is just getting progressively meaner at the fandom. Like, he says that he didn't read the whole issue. And that he said, one sentence he says is, I love you, but don't make me angry. Which I think pretty much sums up the fandom for anything ever. In any point. And so I'm not sure if it's good to look at Recap Kid and feel flattered, because I don't think they're trying to flatter us, but it is kind of funny if you're in more self-aware section of the fandom. Of course, that might make it worse, but who cares? So let me talk about the actual comics contents instead of faffing around. And one thing I was really happy about is that it actually opens up with the tallest on the Massive, which I really like. We know that the issue 4 is going to focus more on the tallest, but I wasn't expecting to see them till then. We saw them this issue, very briefly, but they were there and they had dialogue. And it turns out, if you recall, Zim has been hiding in the toilet for an undetermined period of time. Turns out he's been gone so long that the tallest thought he was dead. So when the guy manning the control panel calls him and tells them Zim is calling, they're like, who's that again? Because it's just been so long. They moved on without him, which is both hilarious and kind of sad. Because one of the things Zim says when he calls him is, I know you've been worried sick about me. And they're like, oh, yeah, that guy. Which was great. So, yeah, not much from them, but enough to make me go, yes! Because, I miss the tallest. I miss so many of these characters. It's great. So most of this issue, like I said before, is in space. It's Dib chasing Zim across the galaxy. And apparently Jonan Vasquez warned people before this issue came out that it was really stupid. And it was really stupid. It was extraordinarily stupid. But it was, like, so epically stupid. It was the perfect amount of stupid. And maybe it's because I've always heard that there was social, like, satire in Invader ZIM, and I didn't notice that much of it as a kid. Maybe it's just because I was a kid, or maybe it's because there wasn't as much, but I find I'm noticing it a lot more in these comics. For instance, the reason this is stupid and the reason I'm bringing up satire is because Zim is looking for the jump codes to a super device called the Gargantus Array. And it turns out the Gargantus Array is in the possession of a gift shop owner. So he's got to stop at like every like little tourist trappy thing in the galaxy and go talk to the gift shop owners, none of whom will tell him anything until he buys their shit. So Dib is stopping off at all the places Zim stops, just behind him, and they're both like, by the time they finally reach their destination, they're both of their ships are like loaded with swag, and like junk food and like stupid shit. So there's actually a gift shop joke in the first episode of the show. So I guess this is something that they like to make fun of a lot, and it's easy to make fun of. But yeah. Like, I think someone was having a contest on this comic to see who could come up with the dumbest made-up words for, like, the alien stuff. Like, one of the stops that Dib stops at is called the Schmopsiest Doink and Squoop. Like, it's just, like, stupid sounds like that are throughout it. And, honestly, I feel like there's actually a bit of commentary in here, like Dib's excited to go into space because he's never been before. Well, he has been before, but he's never been to like far outer reaches of vast alien life and stuff. And he's like really excited about all the wondrous things he's going to see. And the first thing he sees is the galaxy's largest donut, and he has to stop at the gift shop there. Like, I'm sure it's like saying something about consumerism or how materialistic things are. Like, you're going to see something amazing and you see something stupid instead, which seems to be like the ongoing satirical thread in Invader ZIM of people that you think would be wise or all-knowing being kind of petty and mean, or like sides that you think are fantastic and incredible are actually dumb or shallow, stuff like that. Like, there's less to the universe and simultaneously more to the universe than we think. There's more stupid stuff. Or maybe I'm just reading way too deep into it and it was just supposed to be funny. No, I like my answer better. Anyway, one thing I do want to talk about is Dib's ship that he's flying in. If you might recall, it was stolen from Tak. Stolen. He recovered it. The thing is, Tak's personality is still in there, and I was so happy when I discovered that because I miss Tak, and even having her ship around is like, it's kind of like having her. She's not quite Tak, but she's enough of Tak for it to be really funny. And the ship and Dib have a really funny like comedy duo thing going on. Like, the ship hates his guts and is constantly snarking at him and insulting him as he's following Zim across the universe. And like she has gotten a little nicer, I guess, since the show. Since before, whenever Dib tried to use the ship, she actively tried to kill him. So, with her, like, ship legs, or whatever they are. But, Gaz fixed the ship, and I don't know what she did to it, but apparently she rebooted it, so Tak's back in there, and it is at least grudgingly cooperative. It does have a bit of Jackass Genie tendencies, though. Like, if, Dib says to track Zim, the ship will track Zim, but never actually catch up with him until Dib says, "Can you catch Zim?" and then it'll veer right around and go straight for him. So she's basically intentionally wasting his time because she hates him. there's one point where Zim is right there in front of Dib, and Dib's like, come on, Ship, if you've got Tech's personality, that means you hate Zim too. Zim winning is bad, right? And she's like, ooh, but that's difficult because I hate both of you. Like, so I like that dynamic. I hope we see more of it. Yes. I was kind of wondering if they were going to stay in space. No, they're not. Dib is back on Earth at the end of it, after a whole issue of buying shit from various space gift shops. But I want to talk about what Zim's scheme was and what the Gargantus Array is, because oh my god, it's so amazingly epic, like in such a dumb way that I was just in awe. Okay, listen to this. So, they keep it a secret what the Gargantus Array is, and Dib thinks it's a super weapon, but it obviously can't be a super weapon because that's too obvious. So, after he does his, after he gets into a fat blob from being a shut-in because he was watching Zim, who was hiding away, specifically to turn Dib into a fat blob, Dib works out, a lot to get himself back in shape, and only after that does Zim leave. And I thought that was really dumb on Zim's part, because he squandered his advantage by sitting around and watching Netflix for a week. But it turns out what the Gargantus Array is it is a transmission device so powerful that it is able to transmit any signal to any device in the entire universe. So you could basically force everyone in the universe to watch something simultaneously. And what Zim did is he recorded Dib working out and getting back in shape, which is really embarrassing footage and really gross, and he transmitted that over the whole universe, humiliating Dib on a universal-sized scale. That was his plan, and he totally succeeded, and everything went exactly like he thought it would. And when I realized what Zim had done, I just stared in awe for a few seconds, and then I just went, yes! You magnificent son of a bitch! I read your comic book! I'm sorry, getting really excited. Oh my god. You realize how much planning had to go to pull that off perfectly. I thought that he would just, him waiting for, I can't even talk. Okay, I thought that him waiting for Dib to, get back in shape was, squandering the plan, but no, it was part of the plan, because he needed that footage to, the issue ends with Dib once again a shut-in. He can't leave his house because he is the laughingstock of all reality. I don't know. Oh my god. The show has been off the air for 12 years for that payoff. It was fucking worth it. All this time, you realize what this means. All this time was just to humiliate Dib on that big a scale. And I feel bad for Dib, but I'm just in awe of the magnificence I witnessed. Now, this is the only thing that has ever convinced me that Zim is a mad genius. In the show, he does stupid stuff, and, he's intelligent, and he's kind of good with science, but, he seems like he could be brilliant, but his stupidity is always holding back. No, this was stupidly brilliant. This was, combining two things into this epic, unmatched... wow. And, dang. We really underestimated you. I think we did. I didn't think that was possible, but we totally underestimated him. On the other hand, this also marks a new high in obsessing over your enemy. Zim, this whole time, you weren't targeting Earth at all. You basically set up this whole elaborate scheme to mess with Dib. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. He's not even trying to destroy the Earth anymore. Everything is focused on just making Dib miserable. Like, he'll probably have an Earth-destroying plan in the next issue. But, like, Jesus, Sam, I think you're losing track of... Dib is fucking 11 years old. Like, you went through all this to set up this amazingly detailed gambit. Why don't you put that brain to use actually conquering the Earth instead of, like, that? I mean, it's like, it shows an amazing amount of determination focused on entirely the wrong goal. I mean, Zim could totally take over the Earth. I'm convinced now. He's just not gonna, because he's too focused on weird things. So, yeah, that's that. Some people feel more bad for Dib than I do, but I've always been more of a Zim fan. Not that I hate Dib. Dib's really great. I just, I was not expecting that twist. It was pretty phenomenal. I guess I should talk about the comedy, since Invader ZIM would be nothing without comedy. I think I recall from the commentary for the show that somebody, I'm pretty sure it was Jonan, really likes big hats. Like, he thinks big hats are really funny. And sure enough, in this issue, we have big hats. Dib has to buy a donut hat from the first guy he meets. That's a really funny joke, too. The guy says, well, maybe if you buy some stuff, it'll jog my memory. So Dib goes and buys a bunch of stuff, and the guy goes, nope, didn't jog my memory. And Dib's like, weren't you asking for a bribe? And the guy's like, what's a bribe? So I thought that was a really funny joke. There's a lot of, like, bait and switch stuff in this, comic. Yes, we still have our typical Gur, like, grossness. Like, after they stop at a bunch of places, Gur asks if he can eat Zim's donut, and then he says, then I'm gonna eat the crumbs off your face. How does that make you feel? Like, okay. I can still hear the voice actors in my head when I'm reading this. It's really great. There is one moment, though, when, in a pretty cool action scene, like, actually, like, genuinely cool, Dib has gotten the upper hand over Zim in a dogfight and is shooting him down, so he ejects and rides on top of Gur. And Gur, I guess, gets hit by Dib and then crashes, like, into the, Gargantus array, which, like, this huge, like, satellite, I guess, basically, that you can crawl around inside in. And apparently there's enough space to get lost in there for 2 days, like Zim does. So Gur crashes and he lost his legs and he's laying on the ground, and there's just, like, it looks like it's an emotional moment where Gur's like, go on without me, master. I'll be okay. And Zim is... And while he's saying that, and he looks really pitiful, like genuinely pitiful in the panel, Zim is already, like, most of the way down the hall, and he's like, I'm sorry, Gur, are you saying something? So, they've done jokes like that before, but never with Gur, and I think that was like... Oh, that's my dog whining. Cookie. I'm recording a video here. Give me a cookie. Come here. I'll be right back. I'm back. So, anyway, I was talking about Gur. I think basically this was an attempt to make us sad. Like, not make us sad as in, like, pathos, but make us sad as in more like grinding our feelings into the dirt, because they know we like Gur, and they're kind of annoyed with how much we like Gur, so showing him in pain is probably, like, cathartic or something. Plus, it doesn't seem to be that bad, because Dim comes across Gur in the exact same place later, and Gur's just being goofy again. Hi! How you doing? That. By the way, Dib needs to stop getting sidetracked by having conversations with Zim's minions. It's happened twice now. It's issue 2. Like, I don't know. Just stop conversing with the forces of evil, Dib. I was gonna talk about something else. Oh yeah, there's a few shout-outs in this comic, which I wasn't expecting, because Invader ZIM in general shies away from shout-outs. First of all, there's one bit where Zim, like, jumps into hyperspace using what looks like, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's one of those, like, big rings from, like, Star Wars Episode 2 that Obi-Wan uses. It's like a long-distance flyer thing for the Jedi fighter to, like, disengage from and fly away from. If you saw it, you'd recognize it. And one of those, like, almost with the exact same design appears in this issue, and Zim's Voot Runner takes off from it. And there's another part where Zim is running around the inside of the Gargantus array, and he says that it's like this thing is bigger on the inside. No wink to the audience, no other joke. Just Zim saying it's bigger on the inside, and then he moves on. It's like, wow, just a reference with no like sly nudging or ribbing on the fact that you're making a reference, just a straight up reference. When was the last time you saw that in Invader ZIM? Never? It's like, so they're taking this in a new direction, and they're not making it just like, this isn't just a retread of the show. Like, they're trying different things with it, and it's interesting, and it's fun. It's really fun. I have a lot of fun while reading this. The art's great. I've never reviewed comics before, so the action seems pretty competently paneled out. Like, there's one bit that I can't really tell what happened. It's when Gur crashes. It looks like they crashed into the side of the Gargantus array, but if they did, then how did they get inside it? Like, it's just a really confusing scene composition here, so... But that's the only part was really confused. Like, mostly it's really laid out. The coloring's cool. The line art is cool. Like, if you know Invader ZIM art style. Actually, I think they're allowed to get a little bit crazier with their expressions. Like, Zim's cheeks will flail out more when he's yelling because it's not animated anymore, so it's not more expensive to draw it that way. So they can, like, be, like... It's weird to say that it not being animated is making it more fluid, but in a way, it kind of is. Because they're able to, like, do poses and stuff that'd be too hard or too expensive, or they wouldn't have enough time to get right if they were still animating for Nickelodeon. I'm going to flip real through, see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I don't feel too bad about giving spoilers, because I feel like there's a chance that maybe if I give a spoiler, it'll convince people to read it, because this is really worth reading. Yeah, there's a lot of other little jokes and stuff in there that are pretty funny, and I don't want to give away, but I'm really excited about what this series is turning into already, and it's gonna be great. I'm so excited. Okay, I need to stop. Um, don't make an exhaustible noise in front of the camera. Anyway, so see you next month. Hopefully the issue will arrive before I leave for college, but if not, I guess I'll just review it at college, hopefully. So, Strong Keeper 96600. Say goodbye, Cookie. Goodbye. Look at the camera, Cookie. Cookie, look at the camera. Oh well, she's my own personal girl, except she doesn't scream at me, which is good. So, Strong Keeper 96600, signing off. Check out these comics, guys. They are worth your money. Bye.